Daybreak brings a much-anticipated moment. The first people in the water are the naked warriors, the Naga sadhus, and the defenders of the Hindu faith, followed by religious leaders and devotees. The Kumbh Mela has begun. Millions of Hindus have arrived here on the banks of the river Ganges in Allahabad to participate in the ritual bathing. It's fundamental and central to their beliefs. Many more will arrive at the Sangam, the confluence of two rivers, the Ganga and Yamuna, along with the mythical river Saraswati. It's a location where Hindus believe good and evil fought over immortality and the righteous won.
Bathing here is very important. It makes one pure and it passes on the good deeds to everyone around.
The river Ganges is like my mother. She purifies everyone and washes away sin.
Managing the event is a huge undertaking for the authorities, one that involves thousands of police officers and the emergency services. They will have 56 square kilometres to patrol with undercover and uniformed security and the help of around-the-clock video surveillance.
Technology is something which assists us. The magnitude is such that the CCTV cameras fail. There is a software of counting the heads, but when the no light permeates to the ground, the head count formula fails, the software fails. So there's something we have to mix technology with the traditional skills of the manpower, trained manpower.
Those visiting are looked after and sheltered in a variety of ways. Many come for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with little or no money. Wealth and worldly possessions are the last things on their mind.
It is said that any Hindu, when he dies, and after his last rites are performed, his ashes are immersed in the Ganges here in the Sangam. And it is said that after his ashes are immersed in the Sangam, then he attains salvation. The Kumbh Mela here binds the whole of India and the whole of the Hindu religion together.
Over the next 6 weeks, up to 70 million worshippers will attend ceremonies along the banks of the river Ganges. And when it's all over, Allahabad will have to wait another 12 years before another Kumbh Mela. Sohail Rahman, Al Jazeera, at the Kumbh Mela in Allahabad. While some may have not heard of artists like Anish Kapoor, Raza or Hussain, they are names now being talked about in global art circles. India's rich tapestry of art and culture spans thousands of years and continues to attract and inspire artists from home and abroad. Events like this hope to help the global audience recognise the artistic development of South Asian artists and make their work more valuable in the future. Sohail Rahman, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
And Sohail Rahman is on the phone for us now from Hyderabad. Sohail, you've just come from the scene of those blasts. Could you just describe the feelings for us that the residents there are going through right now?
Well, this is a very busy commercial highway where the two bomb blasts occurred on the side of the main Vijayawada-Hyderabad highway.
India's intelligence agencies had warned of a security threat several days before two bombs went off in a market. Now the government's investigating who's responsible for the attack in the city of Hyderabad that killed 16 people. Sohail Rahman sent this report.
A scene of destruction and death in the southern Indian city of Hyderabad. Forensic experts combed the area for clues from the two blasts which killed over a dozen on Thursday evening and injured several more. This busy highway, a main arterial route into the city, practically closed off. And shops along its path are shut for business. People who are near the blasts are still in shock.
The force of the blast threw me to the ground. I was disorientated and for a few moments didn't know exactly what had happened. Then, when I got up, all I could see was dead bodies, many people injured. Then I realized it was a bomb.
The attack happened shortly after 7 o'clock in the evening, a busy time of day as shoppers and commuters made their way home. Local street vendors had been moved recently. Had they been at the blast sites, the number of killed could have been much higher. Those who survived feel lucky to be alive.
I was just in a three-wheeler when we heard the first blast. The driver said it might be best to get down here by the bus stand. When I got off, the next blast happened right here. I can't believe how I survived.
A third suspect package was defused by a bomb disposal team 3 kilometres away. It may well provide clues as to who was behind the attack. India's Interior Minister visited the scene overnight and responded to questions about an alert regarding a possible attack.
It was not a specific intelligence was given that a particular area it will happen. It was general alert was given for last about 2-3 days. We were giving general alert to whole of the country.
While the site of one of the blasts is cordoned off, forensic experts continue their fingertip search of the area. The authorities are trying to find out who was responsible so that they can calm an anxious public. For the moment, India is on high alert. Sohail Rahman, Al Jazeera, Hyderabad. Loud and proud. Tamil students from across Chennai making their feelings known. They're demanding that India and the international community take a firm stand against Sri Lanka on issues of human rights violations. Human rights groups allege that there may have been war crimes committed during the final stages of the civil war in 2009. The conflict between the majority Sinhalese and minority Tamil groups had been going on for 30 years, and it's believed as many as 40,000 civilians may have died. Many want to see an independent, credible investigation, possibly led by the UN. Sri Lanka denies the accusations and says it will not allow the international community to interfere in its internal affairs. Speaking to Al Jazeera on a condition of anonymity, this former Tamil fighter and a schoolteacher, now hiding in India, say they would welcome an investigation.
I lost my child when a bomb exploded near my home. My son Darren was just 1.5 years old. I want to go back to Kilonochi and I want my land back, but I know it's not safe for me. Can the UN really help? I don't know.
I welcome an international independent investigation. Atrocities did happen. I still want a separate, safe state for Tamils and the right to return home in dignity for me and thousands of others.
A 2011 UN report found credible evidence that there may have been human rights abuses.
We tried our best to save the civilians, and also whoever who surrendered, the terrorists, they were safe in our hands. So genocide is, I think that word is not acceptable. Nobody had the intention of going for a kill like that.
While the Indian government supports its Sri Lankan counterpart, relations have been strained. Many Indians here in Tamil Nadu have strong family connections to the island nation. A state coalition partner withdrew its support of the government on Wednesday.
The issues raised by the DMK haven't been addressed by the Congress. Thus, this is a government that doesn't benefit the Tamils in any way. And even after this, if we continue to extend our support to the government, it is a shame to Tamil Nadu and it is distress to the state. Thus, the DMK has decided that we are announcing immediate withdrawal from the central government and the United Progressive Alliance.
Whichever way India votes, it won't please everyone. Last year, it voted for a UN resolution that criticised Sri Lanka's human rights record. India says its position is not to interfere in the internal matters of another sovereign nation, but a state of 80 million Tamils is hard to ignore. So many people and Tamil politicians here are saying that they will continue to make life difficult for the government in New Delhi. Sohail Rahman, Al Jazeera, Chennai. Trying to beat the elements, Shaji and his wife battle with the sun's rays to keep their only source of income alive. Poor rainfall and a dwindling water supply have practically brought this couple to their knees. 250,000 people like them have been affected. While their other fields lie fallow, the pair have concentrated their efforts, but it comes at a cost. They had to borrow money to maintain their trees. With no nearby water source, they pay for tankers to deliver water twice a day.
We survived the food shortage of 1972. Generations of my family have been working the land. We have no option but to make this crop a success. If it fails, we'll be ruined and I have nothing else.
Farmers feed and water their herds collectively, but shortages are a daily worry. This reservoir has dried up over the past 7 years. Poor rainfall and inadequate irrigation systems have rendered acres of rich agricultural land on each side of the bank practically barren. This lake bed is as hard as concrete. crops have failed. Those who invested all their savings in farming are regretting the decision. If you don't get water, how long are you willing to stay on this land and work it?
I used to be a farmhand then, 4 years ago. The family decided we'd buy land and grow wheat and maize. We've been trying since, and it's all failed. If it fails again, we'll have to leave the area and find work in the city.
Celebrating the arrival of spring. Holi, the festival of colour, is in full swing. Whether it's in the garden, road or street, tens of millions of Hindus and their friends across the world are celebrating together.
It's a beautiful and vibrant festival, and it's a great time for family and friends to get together.
Millions of devout Hindu pilgrims visit temples throughout the year, and more so during the celebrations of Holi. Many climb hundreds of steps to reach deeply significant places of worship, like that in the town of Barsana. They pay homage to their gods, dance, laugh, and throw powder paint at each other and look forward to the year ahead. Chemical-based paints are often used, but now it's changing with eco-friendly colours.
We want to increase the knowledge about organic and natural colours, and so the people are shifting towards these colours, and we have lots of customers coming to us, and over the years it's been improving the sales, so that's good for us and the environment also.
Eco-friendly colours are made from a variety of vegetables and spices such as spinach and turmeric, and even flowers like marigolds. While all ages look forward to the event, some doctors urge caution. Some of the chemically produced colours can be harmful.
Other conditions which we see is infections, very common in children particularly. We see fungal infections, viral infections, etc. And if the colour goes into the eyes, it can even lead to blindness. It can lead to certain acute injuries. So playing a safe Holi is very important.
It's an important time for families to meet, so apart from the festival of Diwali later in the year, this is one of the most important occasions in the Hindu calendar. On a story like this, in a crisp white shirt like this, you know what's coming next. Stop. From India, happy Holi. Sohail Rahman, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
Better him than me. I got a coloured shirt on today, I'm good.
That's not fair.
He was asking for that one, wasn't he? All the sport now.
What do you do that to safe range?
Rahul.
That's just not fair.
More. Okay. Fantastic.
I want to die. A plea from a pensioner in southern India suffering from cancer of the lower intestine and bladder when Al Jazeera met her last year. Saras Mama was 70. She died last January. At the time, her daughters showed me the bills for drugs and hospital treatment. They had already paid more than $3,500 over 5 years. They had no money left. Even cheaper generic versions of the drugs were beyond their reach.
We've tried everything. We've exhausted all our savings and options to save Mum.
India's Supreme Court decided on Monday that Novartis, the original manufacturers of the anti-cancer drug Gleevec, didn't have the right to patent the generic Indian equivalent imatinib mesylate. The verdict was based on whether imatinib was a new drug or not, based on a new formula and molecular structure. Divasaya Paramatani is facing ruin. With only 2 acres of land, his fruit trees have died, one after another.
I've taken a $2,000 loan to bore for water and buy new seed. We relied on the groundwater from the river. But now, nothing in the ground or from the sky. If the monsoon doesn't come soon, that will be the end of me.
But the communities are helping each other, cutting down the remaining trees and selling the timber so farmers like Divasaya can start again. Orchards of hardy coconut trees that have been here for decades are dying. There's just no groundwater. So the land is being recultivated. The trees, as you can see, are being uprooted. And what will be planted here is pepper and coffee in the hope that the seasonal rains will make it a viable crop and save farmers financially. Dutt has, for the past month, been under tremendous pressure to try and complete some of the films, estimated to be worth $35 million. One producer said he's relieved his film is complete, but says the industry is backing the actor 100%.
We are very hopeful that he'll be pardoned, say after 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And if everything is all right, he should be back among us.
The public seem resigned to his fate.
Sanjay Dutt as an actor is worth our respect, and he has achieved the pinnacles of success. So Sanjay Dutt should be in the industry right now, but then he has committed crime. Law is giving him punishment and he's worth it.
His legal team is not giving up hope of an appeal for another extension to Sanjay Dutt's bail application.
If a person while on bail does commit breach of the condition of bail, then maybe the Supreme Court would be of the view that this man does not deserve an extension. But so is not the case as far as Sanjay is concerned. He has religiously adhered to every condition that was imposed by the Honourable Supreme Court while enlarging him on bail.
On Wednesday, the Supreme Court of India granted Sanjay Dutt a further 4-week extension to his already pre-existing bail. This true-life Bollywood story has not ended yet until Sanjay Dutt arrives here at Arthur Road Jail in a month's time. Sohail Rahman, Al Jazeera, Mumbai.
India is celebrating 100 years of Bollywood. Now, the billion-dollar cinema industry attracts a global audience, even if some people don't understand the language. But as Sohail Rahman reports, there is one place in India where the bright lights of Bollywood are struggling to reach.
Very good connections with the film industry. And
these photos are all the memories that Bhupinder Sodhi has. His family worked with India's finest actors. For decades, they came to Kashmir to film their Bollywood blockbusters. The public went to watch these movies in one of the cinemas owned by the Sodhi family. Against a backdrop of cultural and religious intolerance, by the early 1980s, all the cinemas in Srinagar were forced to close. Some destroyed, others taken over by the military. This one will soon convert into a hospital. While the country celebrates India's 100 years of cinema, there are no movie houses here.
There were 3 shows, 10 to 1, 1 to 7, 7 to 9. If he doesn't get a ticket in the first show, he used to stand there for the second show. The people were so desperate to see the movies that if today the good cinemas like PVR opens in Kashmir, I can assure you one thing, that half of the people who are under depression, they'll be out of depressions.
This area has some of the most iconic locations and romantic landscapes used in Bollywood films. Yet, within the Muslim community, certain groups continue to oppose film shoots and cinemas.
Islam doesn't allow us to have cinemas where there will be vulgar films. So, inshallah, I don't think there is any place for these cinemas and such this promiscuity and obscenity in Kashmir.
Bollywood movies are still shot here. While most people in the country have access to a cinema, many here don't. This is their only alternative. It's in shops like this that people can get just about any movie that they want. So while India celebrates 100 years of cinema, there are fans here that still haven't been able to see their favourite singing and dancing epics on the big screen. For many young Kashmiris, the only way to see a film is on TV or a laptop. For Abid Lone and his friends, getting together at home is the best way to watch the latest releases. But they say they'd like to see at least one cinema opening again in the city.
If we want to watch a movie in a theatre, like to get the feel, that atmosphere, which is like in a theatre, we have to pack our bags and move to Jammu, which is like 300 clicks from here. So in order to watch a movie, I have to buy a plane ticket, then a movie ticket.
Still, Kashmir has picturesque beauty that will not stop attracting Bollywood producers, perhaps for the next 100 years and beyond. Sohail Rahman, Al Jazeera, Srinagar, Kashmir. The workers you see behind me are not from Kerala. They're from other parts of India. They migrated in to fill the void left by those that went to the Gulf. Now, if they return back from the Gulf with all of their construction experience, for example, the worry for people here is what will they do and where will they find work?
More heavy rain and bad weather hampering efforts to rescue tens of thousands of people stranded by flooding in northern India. So far, at least 1,000 people have been killed in Uttarakhand state. Land and mudslides have wiped out homes and villages. So Rahman reports from Shakti Vihar.
Digging her way out of disaster, trying to recover their personal items, seems pointless for Leela Devi and her family. Their home is like the others in the village, full of mud. 2,000 people here are facing the same loss and devastation. Another successful mission by the Indian Air Force, one of dozens of daily flights arriving at Dehradun Airport. These helicopters have been working in daylight hours to bring the survivors of the recent floods to safety, most of whom are weak and immediately cared for by volunteers and medical staff. And they're hungry and thirsty. The government needs to know where they come from and who's alive, missing or even dead.
I walked and walked. I don't know how I survived. It rained forever. Oh my, so many people are dead, including 2 from my village.
The authorities have said that the rescue operations conducted by these military helicopters will continue while the weather remains stable. But this is the beginning of the monsoon season, and even as I speak, the rain is beginning to fall. Sohail Rahman, Al Jazeera, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. Devout worshippers praying to the river Ganges. This daily Hindu ritual is performed here by thousands of followers. Many hope divine intervention will stop the devastation that is hitting northern India, killing thousands and injuring hundreds. But man could well be the source of the problem. Increased construction on the banks of rivers like the Ganges is illegal according to state authorities. But it's not just houses built along the riverbank that are causing problems. It's the construction of dams and waterways like this that's now being closely monitored by politicians and their critics. Some believe that these very constructions may be partly responsible for the environmental changes the state of Uttarakhand is experiencing. Nelson Mandela's mere presence here over the 30 years when he did visit India on several occasions was huge. He often credited India and its independence leader Mahatma Gandhi with the way he conducted himself in peaceful non-cooperation to try and lift apartheid in South Africa. And that inspiration and that credit to India was never forgotten, and it was very reciprocal belief that India had with Nelson Mandela as well. And the tributes, as we've heard from global leaders, are coming in thick and fast, including the Indian Prime Minister. While the BJP have named Modi as their potential prime ministerial candidate, the Congress party is undecided on theirs. Rahul Gandhi, the son, grandson and great-grandson of former prime ministers, is a potential candidate. Congress will have to make a decision soon, so voters can ask the questions of the men or women who want to rule the world's largest democracy. The BJP is celebrating these results, but it can't take anything for granted in the upcoming general election. A wide range of issues will influence the way people vote across India. But the big-name candidates have a big job to do if they're going to win their support. Sohail Rahman, Al Jazeera, New Delhi. The party evolved from the anti-corruption movement led by Anna Hazare. His hunger strikes over the past 2 years against corruption in politics and bureaucracy hit a chord with millions of Indians. Arvind Kejriwal, a tax inspector with no political experience or aspirations, was inspired. Other political parties challenged the Aam Aadmi Party to fight for their cause at the ballot box. The Aam Aadmi Party did that and is now the official opposition party in the state capital. Success has come surprisingly quickly to the Common Man Party. Supporters here are listening to what their leaders have to say, knowing that the job of governing Delhi isn't quite done yet. The party has said that it's quite happy to fight another rerun of the state election, but in the meantime it also wants to get its message across India, hoping that the masses will listen at the forthcoming general election. Sohail Rahman, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.